Hello, hello, and welcome to How to Do a Kitchari Cleanse 5 days to a lighter, calmer, clearer you. My name is Chrissy Reddy, and I am so happy to have you here today to take in this information. This is a subject very near and dear to my heart. I have fallen in love with Kitchari over the years, and it has done so much to change my relationship with my body, with food, and to heal a lot of issues that I had going on. And I'm just so happy that I get to be able to share this information with you. So let's talk about what you're going to get in this webinar. So first we're going to talk about how a Kitchari cleanse can help you feel lighter, have more energy, improve your digestion, and help you return to your ideal weight naturally. Then you'll get some step-by-step guidance on how to make your own Kitchari at home, plus some bonuses. And then we'll demystify some of the most common questions people have when it comes to cleansing, and in particular doing a cleanse with Kitchari. And then lastly, we'll have an opportunity for questions. And those of you listening to the recording of this webinar, if you feel like this is incomplete, like you still have something, a question that you're holding and it's not answered here, feel free to either send me a message on my Facebook page or to email me at info@chrissyruddy, KRISSYRUDDY.com. My goal is really to help you get the most out of this wisdom. And if you don't get that out of this training, feel free to get in touch with me and we will make that happen. So before we begin, I just want to let you know next week, it's the last week in September 2014, excuse me, I'm going to be starting my own 5-day Kitchari cleanse. And so this is something that I do every fall, and I would absolutely love for you to join me. And I've already heard from some of you who are on board, and I'm so excited to have you as my cleanse buddies. Woo woo! But honestly, it's just so much more fun to do a cleanse with other people. So I hope that if this works for you and the webinar resonates with you, then you'll join me next week too. And the way that it will work is I'll be posting photos of my experience and recipes and some, inspiration along the way for the whole week. And I'll be hashtagging with Kitchari Cleanse. So if you're at home and you're cooking up some Kitchari, I'd love for you to share some photos. And another great thing about this is you can also ask questions. So definitely get on my Facebook page and ask me any questions that you have throughout the entire week. Actually, you know what? Before we go into a little bit about me, one more thing about this I just want to say, just kind of put out there. If you're getting that little voice inside that's like, okay, am I going to go through this whole webinar and then at the end, Chrissy's going to sell me a big package of supplements or all the stuff that I need to, actually make this happen? I just want you to know that the answer to that is no. This webinar is totally free, and my goal is really just to give you everything I've got so you can do this on your own. So there's going to be no hard sales pitch at the end, just pure info. My goal is to have you be able to do this for yourself, to be able to teach your friends and your family and use this healing technique to be able to bring more balance into your body and your life whenever you might need it. So before we dive into the content, I just want to share with you a little bit about me. So for those of you I haven't met or worked with yet, my name is Chrissy Reddy. I am talking to you from the beautiful city of Burlington, Vermont. Burlington, as we call it in the wintertime. And it's fall here, and it's a beautiful time to start, a Kitchari cleanse this time of year. So about my background, I am a holistic health coach. I'm certified from the Institute of Integrative Nutrition, and I'm also a holistic wellness practitioner certified by the American Association of Drugless Practitioners. I'm a registered yoga teacher and also an Ayurvedic lifestyle consultant. So what does all that mean? In short, I help women have an amazing life with a body to match, which means I guide women in learning how to create more freedom in their relationship with food and with their body. And, honestly, this comes from a very personal place for me, because over the past 15 years, I really struggled with food and with weight. And it's like one of those love-hate relationships, right? Like I loved food. I'm a total foodie. Food was always this way for me to, connect with family and friends and have, have a good time at parties. And I love cooking. I grew up, my grandmother was from Ireland and she grew all her own food in this little, patch of green space in Cambridge, Mass. And I would just pick things from her garden and eat them. And so there's just always this sense that food was love. Food was this sense of connection and pleasure and joy in my life. And kind of the flip side of that, the darker side of that was that, food was also my enemy. And that was a really hard relationship to sort of come to peace with because, I would look around at my friends, especially growing up, and I always felt bigger. My face was rounder, I was a little pudgier. The boys didn't really, in my mind, pay attention to me the way they did with the skinny girls, And because of that, I felt like food was what kept me trapped in a body and therefore a life I hated. And most of my life was really spent, on that roller coaster, you know what I mean, of like going up and down, of, my weight fluctuated so much. I would try to be really good and eat really, really good food for a while, and then I would feel like I was totally missing out on all the good stuff, And so then I would diet or even back in the day use a cleanse to kind of fix myself or get myself back to a place that I felt okay. And, I'll be honest, I freaking hate that shit. Not only is it like damaging to our minds, but it also totally just messes with our bodies and it sucks precious energy away from that stuff that we really love to do in our lives. We're always thinking about, the next meal or, oh my God, is my friend gonna see me go back for seconds, at the buffet, and how embarrassing is that? We're not present. We're not living our life. And so I tell you this just because, this kind of healing and using food for healing and being able to lose weight and feel really good and confident in my body was never something that came easily to me. And another reason I do this work was because of this feeling of frustration that I had throughout all of this and my struggle with food and weight. And I just want to be able to relieve some of that for others. My frustration was really like, what the hell is wrong with me, right? Like I have all this information, like I have access to Google, like I can look up, what's healthy. And I used to spend my time doing that. I would Google what Angelina Jolie was eating or, what's raw or vegan or paleo, or like if I just had enough information, maybe I could figure it out. And, I liked vegetables and I got that I couldn't just sit on my ass and the weight would drop off. Yet, somehow I still was totally stuck. And I felt like my body was still holding me back from being that girl I wanted to be, that girl that could try on anything and she'd look amazing and, not have the breakdowns that I did in the dressing room every time I had to buy a new pair of jeans. And, I wanted to be that person I knew I kind of could be, that person that, had effortless confidence and ate without thinking about food all the time. And the fact that I couldn't figure it out really, really got to me. I was like, how can I do all this other stuff in my life, but I can't figure out this simple thing? Like, why is it so easy for others when it's so freaking hard for me? So here's what I did. I said, I'm going to figure this out, not only for myself, but to help other people get out of this too. And so what I did was I spent the past 15 years studying yoga, meditation, ancient healing practices. I traveled to India. I worked one-on-one with a yoga teacher in Hawaii. I studied modern psychology and worked closely with researchers in that field. And I studied with the top leaders in nutrition and mind-body connection at the Center for Integrative Nutrition. And what I've learned is that with the right knowledge and the right tools and the right mindset, you can absolutely heal your relationship with food and with your body. you can feel good and clear and light in your body. You can drop weight without having to try so freaking hard. And you can stop feeling crazy around food. You can have true freedom. Some of you might be saying, food and weight, that's not a big problem for me. I just kind of want to learn how to do the Kitchari cleanse so I can detox and feel a little better. And that is totally okay too. And I'm super happy to have you here. What I found is that, Kitchari is something that's helpful for everybody, no matter where you're at or what it is that you're looking for. Freedom for you might mean not having to deal with being tired all the time, or having, low energy, or sex drive. It might mean getting through that 3 o'clock slump at work, the slump I mean, right? Getting through that time through the day without needing chocolate or sweets or a trip to the vending machine. And maybe freedom for you is just having better digestion, being able to eat whatever you want without worrying, okay, how am I going to feel after this? And we'll talk about how you can begin to change all of these, patterns in as little as 5 days in just a minute. So for me, transformation meant that I no longer needed to look about or think about food all the time. And I was able to lose 50 pounds. I was able to see really, really clear and pretty dramatic results without feeling like I needed to deprive myself to get there. And I was able to increase my energy to a point that I was able to make major transformations in my life and career. I'll tell you, before I used to come home from work, I was tired, I was exhausted, I was stressed out, I hated my job. I would eat dinner in front of the TV, and then I would pass out. I was exhausted. And, when I started cleaning up my diet and using Kitchari and using some of the other tools that I teach my clients, I started to have so much energy and this passion for life that I would literally come home, I would work with clients, I'd go for a run, I would do art, I'd get all this stuff done. It was almost like time expanded, and all of a sudden I was not having more hours in the day, but I was living a life I was very proud to be leading, even before I quit my full-time job and started doing work that I absolutely love. So this is the kind of freedom that I want for you, that freedom to feel amazing in your body so that you have energy and confidence to do what it is you love to do, to make your mark on the world, to get out there and fully, fully live your one wild and precious life. So hopefully that gives you an idea of who I am and why I do this work and why I'm so passionate about it. And now, with that in mind, let's just jump right into the good stuff. So what is Kitchari? What is this weird word, and what is this all about? Why am I, why is this call going to be worth my time? And I'll tell you, Kitchari is a healing recipe. So it's been passed down for centuries. And what I love about that is, as I learned all this information about diets and cleanses, and, there's just so much information out there. Green juices, green drinks, and smoothies, and bee pollen extract, and whatever. Kitchari has been shown to heal people, their digestion, clear their mind, help them lose weight, come back into balance for thousands of years. And I just love that, because it's like, okay, if this has worked for thousands of years, and whoever, started this up didn't have a blog, didn't have a website, wasn't pushing this information, then this has something super powerful and magical about it. So what is it? It's a soupy dish that's just made of basmati rice, split mung beans, a blend of herbs and spices that promote digestion, and some other little goodies that include cilantro, shredded coconut, and ghee. And ghee is clarified butter. So if you're a vegan and saying, whoa, 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 wait a second, no, I don't want to do this if I'm going to have to eat butter or change my lifestyle or my diet, don't worry about that. I got you covered. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. So Kitchari promotes gentle detoxification in the body, and it also helps you to feel lighter, to feel more balanced. It increases your immunity. It helps to clear up the skin, and it also helps remove the blockages that might be keeping you weighed down are having low energy, whether it's a physical blockage in, say the digestive tract, or an emotional blockage, or a psychological blockage. It helps allow energy to move and allow you to come into alignment with your inner sense of vibrancy and vitality. Sounds good, right? So we'll talk exactly about how to, what's in it and how to prepare it in a minute. So one thing I want to say though is that you don't need to, scramble to find a pen and paper to write all this down. This recording will be available on my website, and it's also, I'm going to post some resources for you as well that include the recipes and include a lot of this information in it. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy. So Kitchari is a kind of like a chicken soup of Ayurveda. It's the cure-all go-to healing dish, and it's completely vegetarian. And like I said, we can make it vegan as well. And for those of you not familiar with Ayurveda, Ayurveda is a sister science of yoga. It means the science of life. And it's kind of a lot to go into in this short webinar, but it's based on ancient wisdom that uses food and herbs and lifestyle practices to align your body with the universal flow of nature. So there's a lot in this wisdom and these teachings about eating in alignment with nature and eating for your body type. So I love that. It's like very customized to each person. So unlike all this crazy amount of information out there that's kind of like, do this, do that, eat grains, don't eat grains, eat gluten, don't eat gluten, be vegan, don't be vegan. Like, there's just so much out there. Ayurveda looks at the individual, and this is what I work with a lot with my clients one-on-one, and we say, okay, who are you? What's happening in the body and in the mind? And we can use food to heal. We could use food to bring more balance based on you, your complete, unique being. And I just kind of love that. Just a little side note, because, I talked to you about being a foodie and loving food. And then I really started getting into yoga and spirituality and all this, Eastern philosophy. And when I came across Ayurveda, where it's like, okay, now you can use food to bring balance and calm your mind and to kind of help you manifest this vision for yourself of living a beautiful, vibrant, clear, clean, happy, joyful, light life. I was just like, hell yeah, sign me up. Like, if I can eat my way to better health, yeah, fuck yeah, I want that. So Ayurveda is a beautiful way to do that and also come into alignment, with your highest version of yourself, whether it's in body or in mind. So let's see, what else can we say about Ayurveda? Okay, let's talk about the doshas. Oh, and I'm way behind on going through my slides. So here's a picture of Kitchari. That little thing in the corner is called papadam, and it's made of ground bean flour, and you can have it on the cleanse, but usually just have it, for dinner with it. We talked a little bit about Ayurveda, and then the next thing I want to talk about are the three doshas. So, like I said, Ayurveda is such a vast, beautiful science, but it's pretty much based on these three doshas. So you may have heard in like Chinese medicine or other, ancient healing arts, people just love looking at the elements, because you're looking at, okay, what is like that, the basis of everything in the universe, of everything in nature. And when you look at it, pretty much everything has these different qualities of the elements, right, of nature. So the way that Ayurveda looks at it is it divides it into three. So the air and the ether elements are called vata. The fire, that energy of transformation or heat in the universe, is called pitta. And the energy of earth and water, that kind of slow flowing or very grounded or heavy energy, is called kapha. And what's important to know is that we all have these three elements or energies in us, But typically, when we run into problems or symptoms or disease, it means that one of these doshas, one of these elements or energies inside of us is out of balance. Okay, so what's that mean? So here's an example. So if your body is showing signs of acne, cysts, arthritis, these are signs of excess heat in the body. So you would know that your pitta is out of balance. So pitta dosha is out of balance. If you're feeling really anxious or have insomnia, you're really scattered. A lot of times, if you're having a really hard time, you're starting a lot of projects but can't get any of them done, right? Anybody? Yes, some of us raising our hands here. This is imbalance in vata dosha, too much air and ethers and movement. This will also show up dry skin, dry scalp, constipation, dryness in the body. So then okay, my vata dosha is out of balance here. Too much air, too much ethers in the body. And then if you're feeling depressed or gaining weight, feeling really heavy and sluggish and weighed down, these are the imbalances of kapha dosha, too much earth and water in the body. And what I love about this is like, none of these are bad, you know what I mean? None are wrong. It's not like, oh my God, I gained weight, I suck, I like can't figure this stuff out. It's like, no, it's like actually you just have an imbalance of kapha. And we just need to look at the food and the herbs and the yoga and the lifestyle change that you need to just do a little more of to bring that into balance. And as you eat more of those kapha calming foods and balancing foods, you don't need to try. You will just naturally, your body will just naturally shift back toward balance. I freaking love that. So what's important to know is that Kitchari is considered tridoshic, so it balances all of these energies in the body. So let's just look at that for one more second. So if you're someone who has vata or the air ethers out of balance, and you're feeling scattered and running around a lot and feeling anxious and overwhelmed, you can eat Kitchari and feel calm and feel grounded. Whereas if you have a lot of kapha, earth and water, and you're already feeling really grounded, and in fact too grounded, you're feeling really sluggish, and you're gaining excess weight, you feel lethargic. When you eat Kitchari, it will give you more energy, and you'll feel lighter, and you'll drop the excess weight. So you see what I'm saying? Like, these are two people eating the same bowl of Kitchari. But yet if one person's really emaciated and looking to gain weight, their body actually needs more nourishment, they might gain a couple pounds and then feel better and feel lighter, or feel, yeah, maybe a little bit lighter, but more balanced, And if somebody who's overweight eats Kitchari, they're going to drop pounds effortlessly. They're going to feel good, have more movement, in their body. So I just love that. Kitchari is magic, so it gives you exactly what you need. So the takeaway is that it's deeply healing for everyone and every body type. So yeah, let's talk about the benefits, right? Okay, so why would we do this? Why would we eat this soupy dish, and what's the big deal? So here are some things that I've found that I've personally experienced and my clients have experienced with just even 3 days on a Kitchari cleanse or 5 days. So you'll notice better digestion, less bloating, hormone regulation. So you might find that you have less symptoms when it comes to your time of the month, because you're flushing out toxins, and that helps quite a bit with hormone regulation. Having a calmer and clearer mind, experiencing less cravings for sugar, bread, caffeine, alcohol, etc. And isn't that wonderful? Like, I had a client of mine who was totally addicted to Mike and Ike's. She just loved Mike and Ike's, and that was kind of her fix to get her through the workday. She would always grab them from the vending machine at work. And she had tried for a long time to stop eating Mike and Ike's, and it was just really, really, really hard for her, you know? And that was really frustrating her and making her feel less free and feeling like, what the hell? Why can't I kick this? I know it's not good for me. So she did Kitchari, and I'll have to say she was like, had never done a cleanse before and was just like, I don't know about this, Chrissy. Like, I don't think I can do it. And she ended up doing it. She saw it through the full 5 days. And at the end, I think it was actually a couple weeks later, she emailed me and she's like, Chrissy, like, I haven't had sugar. She's like, I haven't even thought about Mike and Ike's, and I just realized it. So it wasn't like she was like, all right, I'm off the cleanse now. I can have whatever I want. And it wasn't like, you know, okay, I need to stop eating sugar. Like, need to get this out of my diet and make a big change here. She was like, just started to bring in the Kitchari, and everything else started to fall away. And this is like exactly the moment I go for when I work with my clients to make these huge major shifts in your life and your relationship with food and in your health without having to try so freaking hard to just raise that vibration and raise that energy of your cells to a place where they are craving healthy food, and the other stuff just kind of falls away. No more trying, no more struggle. And for her, this was a life-changing moment. She's still, every time I see her, she's like, Kitchari, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. I can't believe I made it through the whole 5 days. Anyway, so what else? Weight loss, weight gain, weight regulation. Most people who do the Kitchari cleanse will lose weight. If you're severely emaciated, I would actually say probably this is not the right thing for you to do right now. And if you have questions about that, we can definitely get in touch. But Kitchari does have that ability to bring you back to your natural state or healthy weight. Reduction in joint pain. So when you do Kitchari, you're flushing out toxins from the body, and that relieves a lot of pain in the joints and muscles. Acne clears up. Eczema can clear up. Feeling less anxious. So like I said, it has that grounding quality. So I don't know if you guys have done other cleanses before, but have you ever, like, for me, I did like the master cleanse or juice cleanses, and like you turn into that like really edgy, really bitchy cleanse girl at work. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, don't go near her. Actually, I saw this t-shirt the other day that says, don't go near me, I'm on a cleanse. And I thought that was hilarious because, yeah, cleanses can make you feel a little scattered and a little bit anxious or a little bit on edge. But Kitchari is a little bit more nourishing, more calming than that. So we love that. Better relationship to your body, better relationship and understanding of your relationship with food and food addictions, and your increased ability to make conscious choices when it relates to food. So what you'll notice is when you come off the Kitchari cleanse, you know, you're going to have this amazing well of information of, you know, wow, what times would I have eaten or gone out for that beer or gone out for that glass of wine or just like ate that cookie because it was in front of me, but you didn't because you were on an intentional Kitchari cleanse. You'll start to know what those triggers are and say, wow, I actually don't even really like that. I probably wouldn't have even enjoyed it. It was just kind of happening. So you get like a lot of, you know, insight like that you can take forward through the rest of your life. You know, I gotta share this with you because this was life-changing for me when I was doing a Kitchari cleanse a couple years ago. So what I did was I made this practice out of it. For the whole 5 days, every time I felt that sense of hunger, that sense of like, I need food, my default used to be, I'm hungry, oh my God, I want food, what can I eat? I'm starving. And then if I couldn't have it, if I was telling myself, oh, I'm on a cleanse, I can't have that, I would want it even more. My hunger would like grow to the size of the room, right? And I would just be like, feeling like in such deprivation, like, oh my God, I can't have it. And then I would get like either pissy or irritable or just be like, when is this cleanse going to be over? And I made a shift, and this was what I did. Every time I felt that pain or that little pang of hunger, and I knew I kind of wasn't ready for my next meal of Kitchari, I would say to myself, like real sweetly, like, oh, Chrissy, I love you. Oh, you're wonderful. I just enjoy you so much. And I was even at work and I would just kind of like stroke my leg a little. Yeah, maybe that sounds creepy, but just give myself a lot of like little like sweet love and affection to my body and to myself. And this literally shifted huge boulders from my life, that weren't addressed through meditation or journaling or whatever. Just this simple act of using the hunger as a reminder to tell myself how much I loved myself. And if that sounds a little cheesy to you, just try it. It needs to be sincere for it to work. But what I noticed is that the hunger would go away. And this like almost gets me choked up because it's something I care about so much, is this sense of so many times we eat and we have this connection with food because of stress or because of feeling left out or feeling overwhelmed. For me, food was such a huge crutch. When I was like really stressed at work, food would always be there. And what I noticed was when food wasn't being used as a crutch anymore, I could just give myself what I really needed, which was some comfort and affection. And not having that come from food changed my entire life. Okay, so how do we make kitchari? How can you do this at home? How can you start to make these shifts for yourself? So one thing I love about kitchari is it is so simple, like I said, it comes from the ancient ones. They didn't have a lot of, cacao nibs and this supplement or that supplement or this shake. All you need is a fine mesh strainer, and you probably actually don't even really need that. If you don't have one, I would not go out and buy one. It's just going to be used to rinse the beans and rice. You need a cutting board, a wooden spoon, a soup pot, a nice, kind of medium-sized one, and a knife. That's it. And then the little guy on the right, that's a pressure cooker. So pressure cookers, same thing as a soup pot, so just choose one or the other. Pressure cooker just allows you to just cook things a little bit faster. So it applies pressure through steam to what you're cooking, so it can cut your amount of time that you take to prepare the kitchari in half. So I have a question from someone here who said, what do you need to have a pressure cooker? And the answer is no, you do not need to have a pressure cooker to make the kitchari. Just use a soup pot, but just know you're just waiting, until things start to soften up, and you can do that in less time with the pressure cooker. All right, here are the ingredients. So these first three on the left, you won't use all of those. You just want to have that first one, the top one, the split mung beans. Sometimes these can be a little bit challenging to find if you don't have a natural food store right near you. A lot of times you can find the next one down, which is the whole mung bean. I would recommend not using those if you can avoid it. They just have a slightly different energy to them, slightly different effect. But if that's the only thing that you can find, totally use them. You can definitely, I've done it before in a pinch, and you can definitely make kitchari with those. And the photo below, the yellow ones, you might find that your split mung beans, or it's also called moong dal, Moongdal. You might be able to find this in an Indian market as well. It might not look green, it might look yellow. You could use those as well, and that's totally fine. The next thing that you're going to need is white basmati rice. And we use white rice here just because it's a little bit easier to digest. And the magic of kitchari is that it's really healing and soothing the digestive system. So we want to keep things really simple and really light. And then when digestion clears up, that is what paves the way for healing and your natural energy to kind of flow through. So when your body's not trying to clean up toxins or deal with digestion, which just takes so much of our energy, it frees you up. It frees up your energy to, just feel better and lighter. I had a client say, I don't get it. Like, I'm not drinking coffee, but I feel like way more energy. What's going on? And that's because the blocks are being removed so that the energy can flow. Hopefully that resonates and that makes sense. Next thing is water. And then you want to have cumin, coriander, and fennel. You can either buy the seeds like they're shown here and then grind them yourself, or you can just buy the powders and that works fine as well. Next thing is asafoetida. So this is an optional ingredient, but it just, again, helps with the digestion of the beans. This is another one that can be a little bit tricky to find. And on my resources page, I'm going to have some links so that will be easier for you guys if you want to just purchase this online. And the turmeric powder, you can usually find at any local store, natural food store otherwise. You're going to need some fresh ginger root, shredded coconut, cilantro, green veggies, and orange veggies. So this is what I found really just kind of simplifies things. This is based in a lot of Ayurvedic philosophy in terms of the qualities and the energy of different foods and what's more augmenting and what's more extractive. But pretty much what you need to know is to bring balance, to have Kitchari be a really balancing tool for you to use. Having some green and some orange are really helpful. The orange will help add to your system. They'll be more comforting and more grounding. And the green veggies are more extractive and more detoxifying. So having that balance in the Kitchari is a really nice thing to do. So green veggies could be kale, spinach, collard greens, broccoli. The orange veggies excuse me, are, sweet potato, butternut squash. We're doing this cleanse during the fall, so that's a great one, is the butternut squash. So good. Carrots. The next item is kombu, and this is one that could be sometimes, and I say these could be tricky to find. I don't find it. I can get all these at my local health food store in Vermont, but so just see at your local store, and if not, I'll also have the link to buy kombu online if you need to. But kombu is seaweed, and what it does is when you break it up and add it to the Kitchari, it adds some umami flavor, so it adds a little bit of depth to the flavor of the Kitchari. Also adds a little bit of saltiness, some trace minerals, and what it does is it helps the beans also be easier to digest. So a little kind of special ingredient there. And then the next one is ghee, and ghee is like my other favorite thing. When I talk about Kitchari, I get all like jazzed up, and when I talk about ghee, it's the same way. I freaking love ghee. And this is clarified butter. I'll also have a link in the resources for how to make your own ghee at home. It's super simple and it's really fun. It makes your house smell amazing. But you can also buy this online or in the store. This will also be in the resources. All right, next, rock salt. And we have a question, can you use regular salt? Can you use table salt? And the answer is yes. It's really important. Don't get like too hung up on all this stuff. It's like we just want to eat something soupy and light and easy to digest. Excuse me, gosh. So if you hate cumin, leave out cumin. If you want to have more green veggies and light veggies, like, don't worry too much about this. This isn't about like doing it right or being perfect. This is just about like being curious and trying different things out and seeing how it affects you. The thing with regular table salt is it's created through a chemical process. So it's less sattvic or pure, as we say in Ayurveda. And rock salt is a little bit more pure, a little bit more balancing, and it has a little bit more minerals in it. So you can get pink Himalayan salt. There's a great company called Real Salt that you can purchase. But if you don't have those, yeah, just use your regular table salt. Definitely not a reason not to do the cleanse. So here's how to make it. I also made you a fun little video that you can check out in the resources page, but I'm going to just kind of walk you through step by step. So you want to grind your spices either beforehand. So here's the spices here. This is the cumin, coriander, and fennel. And yeah, and so you can just have those ready. If you're using the powder, that's fine too. So what is this? So the first step is to take the basmati rice and the mung beans and take that mesh strainer, if you have it, and just rinse the rice and rinse the beans. Then you're going to add them to a pot with some water and the kombu, and you're going to boil it until the rice starts to get nice and soft. And once that happens, and while that's happening, you can be chopping your veggies or grinding your spices or doing whatever else you need to do to get prepared. And once the rice is soft, then you're going to add your more dense veggies, so sweet potato, squash. It's usually the orange veggies because they're more dense, they're more grounding, they have more kapha in them, more earth energy. So you're going to let those cook for a little bit, and once those start to soften, then you're going to add your shredded coconut, your turmeric, your asafoetida, and your spice blend. Give those a stir, and the kitchari will then start to turn this really beautiful yellow color. And then you're going to add your green veggies or anything that's going to take less time to cook, and just keep stirring it, over medium-high heat. Once those start to soften up, you're getting toward the end, so you're going to just add your cilantro, give that a little stir, and then you're going to add, oh, you know what, one other thing I'll mention up here, fresh ginger root. You're also going to add your fresh ginger root when you add the spices. So now kitchari is looking good. You're in your final step. You're going to add the ghee. So this is ghee I made myself. It's a little darker in color than typical ghee. I kind of cooked it a little too much, but it gave it this nice toasty color, so I kept it around. I actually really like it, or toasty flavor. So you're going to add your ghee and then add your rock salt, and then you're going to be done. It's going to smell amazing, and you can just keep it in the fridge or serve yourself up one right away. So again, here's the final dish. This I would say is like a medium consistency. You can add more water and have it be like a vegetable soup, or you can add less water and have it be kind of like more like a rice and beans texture. So either is okay. If you're like doing a lot of work or physical labor, you definitely want to have it more substantial. Maybe for your last meal of kitchari at the end of the night, if you want to just have it be a little bit lighter or soupier, you can do that. So let's see if there's any other questions here. So is kitchari the only thing that I eat throughout the whole time? So that's a great question. And kitchari is, the idea is to have like a mono diet, to keep things really, really simple, right? So you can eat kitchari 3 times a day for the whole, 3 to 5 days, or one day that you're doing the cleanse. Some ways to switch it up, though, are instead of kitchari in the morning, you can have what's called kunyi. And kunyi is just simply white basmati rice, some turmeric, some fresh ginger root, and a little bit of rock salt. And just boil that with water so that it's a nice soupy consistency. And you can have that in the morning if you want to switch it up. You could also get some more variety by switching out the veggies. Sometimes I also add some raisins, or I'll add cinnamon to make it a little bit sweeter. So play around with the spices and play around with the veggies, and you'll notice you start to get a lot more, variety in the flavors. So that's really nice. Also in the resources, I'll send you a couple different recipes that are good for different doshas, if you know your dosha, whether you're vata, kapha, or pitta. And it will also sorry, I just lost my train of thought there. Yeah, it'll also give you some other recipes so that you're able to, switch it up a little bit. So here's the other thing. If you're finding yourself getting really hungry, you can have like a small amount, like maybe 12 soaked almonds. Just soak some almonds overnight and then peel them and eat them. That's another ancient Ayurvedic practice that's just really nice and balancing, but gives you a little bit more substance to your food during the day. And another thing too, if you're really craving something different, you can also add some fresh fruit in the morning or as a snack during the kitchari cleanse. Fruit is really light and easy to digest. You don't want to eat fruit with the kitchari or with the almonds because you want to keep things, separated so that you can increase your digestive fire or your agni. So you want to try to space out your meals or snacks 3 hours apart. If you want to eat Kitchari, like sometimes I'll eat Kitchari in the morning or kuni in the morning, and then I'll have like Kitchari at 11, then I'll have it again at 2, and then I'll have it again at 5. Um, and then like just have some tea, herbal teas and stuff from 5 p.m. onward for the rest of the night. All right, so yeah, so there's some opportunity to switch things up, but we still want to go for simplicity. So here's what to expect. So during stage 1 is preparation. Okay, so you want to take about 3 days to start to prepare yourself for the cleanse. So we're starting on Monday. So ideally, I'm actually going to a wedding this weekend, so we'll see how that goes. But ideally, you'd want to take between now, Friday and when you start the cleanse on Monday to start cleaning up your diet. So you want to eliminate or at least drastically or dramatically reduce your use of coffee, caffeine, tobacco products, alcohol, and any recreational drug use. So this is where I look at the webinar and say, okay, how many people bailed? How many people left? No coffee. I'm out of here. But we're looking pretty good. People are here and attentive, which is great. You're still in. I love it. So yeah, you want to start to limit some of these things. These are what I call the perpetuators: alcohol, refined sugar, caffeine, refined grains. These are things that like we tend to love, and we never feel like, oh my God, don't get rid of my zucchini. Like we feel about, don't tell me I can't have my coffee, or oh my God, are you kidding me? I can't go out for drinks. So there is something to these foods, and they do have a little bit more of an addictive effect in the body. They're not bad. I honestly believe everything is good. Everything is wonderful. Everything is love. It's part of this universe. But at the same time, we're looking for freedom. We're looking for ability to make choices and not feel stuck in habits. So Kitchari is a great way to start to lessen our attachment to some of these things. So you want to start that in the 3 days before the Kitchari cleanse. You also want to take out, fast food, processed foods, meat, refined sugars, and sweets. So during this time, just eat as many whole foods as possible. So fruits, veggies, whole grains, nuts, and seeds. So my question for you, what do you think would be hardest to give up? What are some of the things where you say, oh my gosh, that could be tough, right? So yeah, sugar, but that's also the reason you're doing it, which is good. Great. What else? We're seeing coffee, caffeine. Can I still have coffee? So that is a great question. So we're looking for progress and not perfection, okay? So we want to just keep moving one step forward. So for you, maybe you need to have a cup of coffee each day while on the Kitchari cleanse. What I would strongly recommend is if you can cut it out, you're going to see dramatic results and be able to really detox from that in your system. But maybe you want to start with a couple cups of coffee during the preparation phase, and then limit that to 1 cup of coffee, 1 cup of decaf, and then just decaf, and then maybe a little tiny bit of decaf and some herbal tea, and then maybe just herbal tea and taper it off like that. So that would be my recommendation for that. So the next piece is active cleansing. So your Kitchari cleanse can be 1 day. It can be 2 days, it can be 3, 4, 5. Next week, we're going to do a 5-day cleanse. It could also be 7 days. And during this time, this is the heart of the cleanse. So you want to eat a very simplified mono diet of Kitchari. And this diet is substantive enough that you can maintain your essential responsibilities, but it simultaneously resets the digestive system. It's going to support the elimination of toxins, it's going to balance your doshas. And during your cleanse, you can also integrate other cleansing practices such as abhyanga, which is like a self-oil massage. So massaging the body, massaging the joints and muscles in the morning is such a beautiful practice. And you can let the oil sink in for a few minutes and then hop in the shower nice warm shower to, you don't need to use soap, but just kind of rinsing the body. It's beautiful. It helps eliminate the toxins. So you also want to drink warm water with lemon in the morning, drink herbal teas, have breakfast, either the kunyi or some simple rice or fresh fruit or the kitchari. And then eat kitchari throughout the day. So again, 3 meals. You just want to allow three, or more than 3 meals is okay, but you want to allow 3 hours between the meals. And it's best to avoid snacking, but you can have the almonds or fresh fruit. And this is really important. You don't want to feel deprived. This is not about restriction or dieting or forcing. We want to feel at peace with the process. And when we feel at peace with the process and we're feeding ourselves gently nourishing, detoxifying food like kitchari, everything else takes care of itself. So eat, feel good, feel nourished. Try not to eat after 7 p.m. and you want to drink at least 12 cups of room temperature, warm or hot fluids throughout the day. And optional at night, you can also add some triphala. Triphala is an Ayurvedic herb that helps with the detoxification process. It also helps to move things along, if you know what I mean. So if you're feeling a little constipated or stuffed up, sometimes that can happen. Things get a little bit worse before they get better, so to speak. That can definitely happen. And we have a question, am I going to feel bad during the cleanse? Is it going to make me feel sick? Or, am I going to feel bad during the cleanse? So the answer to that question is it totally depends. It depends on how many toxins you have in your system, and certainly the preparation phase, the more you can do then will help with the actual cleanse. But what I find is usually the first day is kind of tough. By day 2, might experience like some dull, or actually day 1 is not so tough. Day 2, you start to feel maybe a little dull headache as the toxins are getting stirred up. And then by the 3rd day, usually things get better. So like I said, sometimes they get a little worse because you're stirring up the toxins before they get better so that you can release them. So if that happens, just drinking more water, taking more rest, and taking the triphala will also help with that. So when the cleanse is complete, again, want to approach this not like it's a diet. So we don't want to say, yay, I'm done, I did 5 days, now I'm going to eat whatever I want. One, because your digestive system is going to be pretty sensitive, right? And it's going to be used to eating a very clean diet. And you guys, I'm so embarrassed to admit this to you, but I'm going to be totally honest with you. I guess it was maybe 8 years ago now, I did a Kitchari cleanse, and then my friend was having a party in Boston, and I went down and we drank like a lot. It was a big celebration, and we were out until 3 in the morning, and I woke up the next day and I felt, whoa, okay, I'm a little hungover. But then after that, for like 3 weeks, I was sick. Like almost like a flu, but like I couldn't tell what was wrong with me, just felt awful. And I went to my naturopath and I had to tell her, well, I was on a Kitchari cleanse, and just tried to sneak that in there. And I was like, and then I drank, and she's like, wait, what? She's like, your liver was so pure and clean, and then you dumped all this crap on it. She's like, you're just totally, you just threw your system through a loop. So don't do that. Trust me, you don't want to. It's not worth it. You want to use the reintroduction phase of maybe a week or 2 to just keep up with the clean eating. Maybe it's just a few days if that works for you, and just slowly start to bring things back into your diet. And I'll also say this is a great time to test out your food sensitivity. So try 1 day of bringing in dairy, or 1 day of bringing in wheat, or 1 day of bringing in alcohol, and just really notice how these things affect your body and how you feel. This information is priceless. This wisdom and this data is something that Kitchari sets you up to be able to collect so that you can use for the rest of your life. So the next part is rejuvenation. So this is like the phase of you have that information, you have these tools, and you're moving forward in your life with this new sense of clarity and understanding of what it takes for your body to feel good, what your relationship to food is, relationship to your body, and how to use that wisdom throughout, yeah, like I said, the rest of your life. So there we have it. So you've learned how to make Kitchari and what it is, why it's important. We did a little teaser, a little intro to Ayurveda and the doshas. We learned that Kitchari is great for all different people and all body types and creates healing on many different levels, physical, emotional, and spiritual. It helps to set ourselves up for patterns for the rest of our lives. And we also talked about exactly what the phases of the cleanse include. So let's talk about some frequently asked questions. How long do I need to cleanse for? So hopefully this was clear. You can do it for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 7 days. If you want to do it longer than 7 days, I would recommend maybe getting in touch with me. I would almost recommend doing the preparation phase for longer, and then the Kitchari cleanse for a week, and then the integration phase for longer. That would be amazing. If you can stretch this out over a few weeks or a month, you'll see some really wonderful results. How much Kitchari do you eat? So this is a great question. This is different also based on your body. So I want you to do something right now, which is to place your two hands together out in front of you, palms facing up, and just kind of cup them into a little bowl, like you could just hold a little baby bird in them. So this place in the palm of your hands actually represents the exact size of your stomach, exactly how much food that you need to displace the air and fill the stomach with food. So this is where I would start. Kitchari has a lot of water in it, and it's a little bit lighter. So maybe you're going to start a little bit more than what you can fit into your two hands, but this is your divine portion. So remember this moment. You know exactly how much your body needs. You don't need to count points. You don't need to count calories. You have the tools right here in the palm of your hands. This is you. Everybody's hands are different. So just take a look at that and just notice. And now you have it. What if I get sick of it? So, all right, we talked about that, about different foods that you can bring in. You want to stick with Kitchari, but vary the spices, vary the veggies, bring in kuni or some fresh fruit or almonds. Another thing is to notice, okay, if I'm sick of it, I'm bored, or I want something more exciting, or I want some more pleasure. This is where my real work comes in, the work that I do with clients, because then you're going to start to look at where can you bring joy and pleasure and fun in your life? Can you call a friend? Can you go get a massage? Can you take a beautiful walk through the woods? And this is why I freaking love cleansing, because you start to notice all these opportunities in your life to bring in these energies that you want, to bring in the things that you want without having to rely on food to do it. So that would be another tip that I'd give you if you're wondering if you kind of want something more, if you get bored. Start looking at what you can do in your life to get what it is you're really craving. Let that sink in. So we talked about how long we need to cleanse for. I'm super busy. Can I make this work? Yes. Investing in a pressure cooker is a great way to make Kitchari a little bit more, make it quicker to make. You can also make your batch and eat it for a couple days. I wouldn't make it for the whole week just because it's going to lose its prana or its life force. But making a batch and eating it for a couple days would certainly work. Can I do the cleanse while pregnant, breastfeeding, or while on my period? So while on your period, yes. Breastfeeding and pregnant, I would not recommend this cleanse. And again, you can get in touch with me if you need some more personal advice on that. What can I expect to eat on a typical day? We covered that. Is it difficult to do a cleanse? And again, this is all going to depend on you, but why? Hello, it is so important to have buddies. So I'm going to just give another plug for my Facebook cleanse that I'm doing next week, where I'm going to be posting pictures and recipes and inspiration, and you can have Q&A right there. You can ask me any questions that you might have and I'll get back to you. Having support definitely makes it easier. Also, drinking lots of water will make it easier, getting lots of rest, and doing more introspective activities like meditation or yoga or long walks, gentle exercise, art. Go to sleep early. Do what your body wants. Take baths, take bubble baths. Smell essential oils throughout the day. Bring in these sweet, calming practices, and you'll notice you're going to absolutely love that sense of introspection and clarity that the cleanse can bring you. If you're trying to do a ton, you're trying to do so much, and you're really pushing yourself really hard, and you're cleansing, and you're very outward, you might find that you do get a little bit more snappy or a little bit more irritated, and that's just because the energies are in opposition. So I would recommend, if you can bring in some of those practices we talked about, that's really going to help with the cleanse being very, very enjoyable. What if I can't find the right ingredients? So again, we talked about the resources page that I'm going to be posting so that you have that to refer to. Also, like I said, have fun with it. Switch it up. Should I continue to use supplements or medications? Supplements, yes, but notice if your body needs them. It might be a good time to kind of totally let go of the supplements and just be getting the nourishment through food. Sometimes, especially like concentrated vitamins and stuff, can be quite a bit, on the system. So if you're taking a probiotic or Triphala, I think that's fine. So supplements, I would say, are optional. Medications, certainly continue on your medication. And you can also, of course, consult your doctor if you have a special situation, especially if you're on prescription medication. And should I continue with exercise? So again, you just want to continue with nice, gentle exercise, yoga. If you're training for something and you want to keep going with that, just notice how you feel. Might need to use less water in your Kitchari to bulk it up a little bit. So here's what we covered, and thank you just so much for, again, for being here. It's just so nice having your energy here and being able to share this information with you. I really hope that you're able to use this information to either think about doing a cleanse with us next week or doing your own cleanse at home. So here's what we covered. We talked about how a Kitchari cleanse can help you feel lighter, have more energy, improve your digestion, and help you return to your ideal weight naturally. We also talked about how to make your own Kitchari at home and what you're going to need to do it. And we also talked about some of the frequently asked questions. And we talked about bonuses and banding together, so that I will be sending you some information. There will be a resource page on my website about Kitchari, and also so you can just search Kitchari if you're listening to this webinar way after it takes place. Just search Kitchari on my website and you'll have that page come up. And we talked about how doing it together is a really fun thing. So again, mark your calendar, 5-day Kitchari cleanse next week, September 29th through October 3rd, 2014. And be sure to hashtag Kitchari cleanse if you're sharing on your own social media so that we can all follow along with your journey as well. So thank you so much for being here. This has been absolutely a joy. I'm so happy I've been able to share this information with you, and keep in touch. Email me if you have questions. If something wasn't covered in this call, you have a burning question or desire, just please email me. Let me know where you're at, and I'll do my best to be able to get back to you. And the website address at the bottom here is also a great blog post that I wrote a little while back that has a lot of this information in it as well. So share that with your friends, share it with your family, find some folks to do the Kitchari cleanse with you. In my resources section, I'll also give you a shopping list, so print that out, head to the store, get what you need, and get ready to have an amazing life and a body to match. Thank you so much.